It is, I'm going to title this as an Algebra 2 worksheet. And today is day 24. And it is Monday, September 15th. I will write where name is. You can write your name, but I'm going to write answer guide. Excuse me. Answer guide. And before we get too ahead of ourselves, as I'm writing this, I realized I did not take attendance. I'm going to do that real quick. Let me pause this. Not period 1, 3, and 4. Period 3 to 4. Good enough. Okay. So before we really get into these, something that I find helps me, just like when you're solving problems with formulas, I like to write that formula on a sticky note so I can move it around my paper. We are going to write an absolute value function, kind of the layout of it, so that we can use this to help us as we solve each question. So that is y equals a. That is not easy to see. Let me get a different color. Y equals a. Absolute value x minus h. And x minus h, after that we close the absolute value bars, plus k. So I would recommend write this on a sticky note so that you can move it around, and we'll write a few other things on this sticky note as well. We'll start with a. What does a represent in this equation? The slope. And slope tells us from one point to another, how many spaces do I move up? How many spaces do I move over? So that's our rise, which is up or down, over run, which is left and right. What is the only thing that would cause your slope to go down?
If it's a negative.
If it's negative. So negative a tells us to go down. I'll make a little note of that. Negative a down. Let me actually zoom in on this while I'm making this note. Now, I have slope. What will give me my vertex?
H.
My H. That gives me the X value. What gives me the Y value? Okay. So we need these two values. Now, something to keep note of and to remember is that the minus sign is part of the formula. So if I have, I'll just put a little example here. If I have x minus 5 plus 4, what would my vertex be?
It's 5 minus 5.
So we have a 5, but we want to be careful because this is part of the formula. So are we using the minus or no? No, H is just the number. So H equals 5. K, what's my K?
4.
4. What if it was X plus 5? Then what would H be? Minus 5, negative 5. Now it's negative 5 because of the plus. So your H is the opposite sign. H has an opposite sign. Okay, and we'll see more examples of that as we go through these problems here. So before I move this note, I'll leave it up for a moment, big enough so everyone can see it and get that copied down. And then we're going to start working through these problems together. And at any point in today's lesson, you are not sure what's going on, I promise I will never, ever, 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 ever be annoyed if you ask a question. I love it when you ask questions because odds are if you are confused, someone else is probably confused too. Okay, so even if I've explained it 5 times, if you still don't get it, tell me because, you know, I'm not a perfect person. Maybe I don't explain something the most wonderful way the first time. There's always another way to explain it, and we can always figure that out. Oh, yes, the back is upside down. I know it.
That doesn't align correctly.
All right, so I'm going to keep this to the side here. And let's go ahead and just look at number 1. First of all, let's find our slope and our vertex. So over to the side, I'm going to write slope. And then I'm going to write vertex. What is my slope in number 1?
4.
It won't be
No.
4.
Your slope is 1.5.
It's 1. Where are you getting 1/2?
Because yeah, it is 1.
It's 1. Your A tells you slope. If there's no number in front, that number is 1. So my slope is 1 or 1/1.
That's right.
Is that what you meant?
Yeah.
Okay, so 1/1. What is my vertex?
2. -2.
Good. 2.
Yeah.
Why is it not -2?
Because the negative goes away.
Yes, we are using just the 2 for H. So my vertex, I have H is 2. What's my Y value of my vertex?
4.
-4. My K, I do include the minus sign. Okay, so let's let everybody get caught up to here. And before we move on to graphing, please tell me if you're not sure how I got any of these numbers. We can always explain again. My slope was 1 because A is 1. My vertex is 2, -4 because H is 2. K is -4. So that was our first step, just figuring out what's our slope, what's our vertex. Once you have that, you can graph this. So once we have this information, we're going to put a point where our vertex is. Remember, X comes first. Is the X-axis side to side or up and down? Side to side, X. So I'm looking for 2 on the X-axis. Right here. -4 is my Y. So will I go up 4 or down 4?
Down 4.
Down 4. So 2, -4. This is my vertex. Do we see how we got that? Okay. Once you have your vertex, and I'll just write again, this is the vertex. This is our starting point. This is where we start. Our slope tells us where do we go from here. So if my slope is 1/1, that means,
Go up 1, go up 1, over.
yes, that means we rise up 1. So here's my rise. I'm rising 1, and then I run 1. So I run 1. I just went up 1/1. That's my next point. Then we can go again. Up 1 again, over 1 again. We can do this as many times as we want. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Now that I've done this, what do I need to do next?
Go on the other side.
Go ahead. Other side,
On the other side.
plug.
Go up 1, over 1.
Is my graph done?
No.
No, we need to go back to the vertex, to the starting point. Up 1, over 1 the other way too. We're doing both directions because we need that V shape.
The identical.
Yeah. So we went up 1, over 1. Up 1, over 1. Right here. We could keep going. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. You don't have to do this many points, but sometimes the more points that you put on your graph, the easier it is to trace a straight line because you have more points for your ruler to go through. I connect the dots. And there we go. That is my graph. And last week we talked about an XY chart. Doing a chart where you have X in one column and then Y in another column. There's obviously not an XY chart drawn on here for you. And there's not a whole lot of room for it either. But over to the side, I'm going to grab a piece of paper. And I'm going to have a paper that kind of goes along with my graph. So let me title this over here. I'm going to zoom out just a little. Algebra 2. Day 24. We'll call this graphing worksheet. And for number 1, I'm going to write that function again. I know that's really tiny. It's kind of hard to see. So let me zoom back in again. It was y equals absolute value x minus 2 minus 4. And on this separate paper, let's write x, y. Now, if you already made your graph, this part might be pretty easy. You can just look and name some of your points. So, for example, I already have a vertex. We could find other points too, though. For example, what is the coordinate for this point, the first point we made after the vertex?
Negative, it'll be
Three.
3, negative 3. Yeah.
Yeah,
3.
my x value is 3 because it lines up with 3 here, and my y value is negative 3. And that would be, we'll call that point A.
Do we have to do this or no?
You will have to fill out an XY chart, so I would do it. But if you choose not to, I'm not grading whether you're writing this. It's just for your own benefit. If this was point B, what would that coordinate be?
4, negative 2.
4, good. Negative 2 is where it lines up. It's B. I'll call point C my vertex, why not?
2,
C.
negative 4.
2, negative 4, that one's already done for us. And let's pick 2 more. So how about this one here?
Be positive 1, negative 3.
Good. Positive 1, negative 3. We'll call this one E. Oh.
0, negative 2.
0, negative 2. Good. So we just looked at the graph, saw where each point lined up on the x-axis, saw where each point lined up on the y-axis. Now, not thinking about absolute value, not thinking about graphing, just thinking about naming coordinates. Does anyone in this room feel that they could use more practice naming coordinates? Because if you do, we can absolutely do more practice. I'll tell you what, you just come find me later and I can help, okay? So this is what we got for number 1. Now, of course, there's also the way where you could plug the numbers in for x and solve for y. But let's not worry about that on this one. Let's just do this for now. Do we have any questions about number 1? Any questions? Before we look at number 2, does anybody need more time to see number 1? Take your pen, I'll pause for just a minute. Okay, I'm going to put this to the side and let's look at number 2. Now I have y equals x plus 1. So again, just like in number 1, we're going to start by figuring out our slope and our vertex. Maybe over to the side we can write A, H, K. What is my value for A in this equation?
1.
1. Remember, A is in front of the absolute value. If there's no number, it's like there's an invisible 1. So our A is 1. I do. Let me pause. Give you a worksheet. Okay, so I know A is 1. Tricky question. What's H?
1. -1.
-1. Why is it -1?
Because it's a positive.
H is tricky. H is tricky. Because remember, if I have x minus h as part of the original equation, the original formula, to have a plus here, what's really happening is we have basically x minus -1. This is the only way that we would get a plus here. When you subtract a negative, you're adding. So h is -1. Just remember, the thing that's inside of the absolute value is flipping. If it's positive, it will be negative. If it's negative, it will be positive. We switch the h. Okay, so what would my k be?
Would it be 1? 0.
Ooh, this is tricky. Would it be 0 or 1?
You don't have a number in there, so 0.
Yeah, k is the plus whatever's at the end. So if there's nothing at the end, it has to be 0. Why can it not be 1? Well, go ahead.
No, I said why.
Why? Well, because if it was 1, it would say +1. If it was, for example, the reason A, whenever there's no number, the reason that will be 1 is because if A was 0, then this would be 0 times all of this, and it would just be nothing. Everything would disappear. It would say y equals 0. A is 1 when there's no number. K is 0 when there's no number. Does that make sense? Because this is something being added. This is something being multiplied. Okay, so I know what A is. I know what H is. I know what K is. What's my vertex?
The vertex is going to be -1, 0.
Yes, my vertex is HK, and H is -1, K is 0. So that is my vertex. And what is my slope?
It'd be 1 over 1.
Yes, 1 over 1. So we're going to do the same step motion as number 1. We're going up 1 from the vertex and then over 1. Okay. So we have everything we need now, right? We sure do. Now let's plot our vertex. So starting from the middle, do I go left 1 or right 1?
Jump left.
Left 1. It's -1 on the x-axis. So I'm going -1. And my y value is 0. Do I move anywhere from here?
Nope.
No.
That's your point.
This is my point. That's my vertex. Right there. -1, 0. And if my slope is 1 over 1,
1 over 1.
up 1 over 1. We went up 1 over 1. We could do it again. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. You could go on forever and ever and ever if you wanted. Once we've done one side, are we done?
No.
No. We got to do both ways. We also need to go up 1 to the left 1 as well. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. And just repeat that pattern over and over as many times as you like. Connect our dots. Made a beautiful graph.
I'm done. Can I give you my paper?
Yeah. Me do this. Check your answers for me. Okay, so our graph is done. Our graph is done. Let's also make our XY chart. So over here, I will write number 2. That was y equals absolute value of x plus 1.
It's all right. You want me to just keep things?
Cool. Good job. Okay, now for our XY chart, it's okay if these are not in a specific order. But I'll go ahead and write A, B, C, D, E. If this is point A, right here, what would my first X, Y values be?
It'll be -3.
Perfect. A is -3, 2. If this is B, what would my coordinate be?
With the 2, 1.
-2, 1. Okay. We'll call the vertex C. We already have that, -1, 0.
D 0, 1.
All right. So if I look at point D, we see that lines up with 0 on the x-axis and 1 on the y-axis. And how about point E?
That's gonna be 1, 2.
1 on the x, 2 on the y. Now, if we write our A, B, C, D, E in a nice line like this, you'll get this pattern like that. It'll be spaced 2, 1, 0, 1, 2. They mirror each other, just like the graph mirrors itself. It's always kind of nice to see patterns show up in math. Usually that lets you know you're probably doing something correct. Now, there's lots of patterns. Okay, so that is number 2. Peek at that. See some of the negatives. I want us to do a negative slope next. All right, can I move this? Does anyone still need to see it? I can keep it up if anyone needs it. Okay. I'm going to have you now flip your page to the back. And let's look at number 7. Let's look at number 7. Let's identify, again, A, H, and K. This time, don't shout it out. Somebody raise your hand. You know what A is. Bichel.
-1.
Yes, -1. Now there's a minus sign. There's no number, so it's still 1, but since there is a minus sign or a negative sign, that's going to make it -1. Now, again, raising your hand, what is my value for H? I know you got it, girl. Who can tell me my H value? Kelsey. 2. Not -2. So 2. What's my K? -2. Good. K is -2. Very good. Okay, so I have A, I have H, I have K. What is my slope?
-1/1.
Yes, -1/1. Good. Now, because it's -1, we'll need to be careful. Will we go up 1/1 or down 1/1?
Down 1.
That minus makes us go down 1/1. Now, somebody again raising your hand, what is my vertex going to be? Jessica.
-2.
Yes, both of you. Yes, 2. -2. Beautiful. 2, -2. Very good.
I had it backwards.
You had it backwards?
Yeah, I have -2 first.
I gotcha. Yeah, this one's kind of tricky because they're both -2, but we got to remember H is the one that changes the sign. K stays with whatever sign is on it. So I have everything I need. Slope and vertex, that's the only 2 things you need to graph. Let's put a point on the vertex. 2, -2. So starting here from 0, I'll find 2 on the x-axis right here. And then I will go down 2. Good, right here. This is my vertex. And my slope is going to tell me where do I go from here.
You go down over 1.
Down
1.
My slope says -1, so down 1 over 1. There's a point. And again, down 1 over 1. There's a point. You could stop there, but we could also keep going. I'll just make little marks so I know where to trace my line. Now that I have one side done, go back to the vertex. I'll use my slope again. Down 1. What do I do different this time?
Over 1.
Over 1.
To your left.
To my left this time. We go the other way over 1. Down 1.
Over 1.
Over 1 to the left again.
Down 1.
And then we could keep doing it if we want. I'll just put little marks there. And then we'll connect our dots and our graph is done. So we have that. And now I'll label A, B, C, D, E. We're going to name these points on our XY chart. So I'll leave that up while I write the problem on my separate page. Just a minute here. Oh, that wasn't number 3, number 7. Okay. All right. Somebody, by raising your hand, tell me what would I name point A? Raise your hand. Point A. Go ahead, Titania. What's A?
0, -4.
0 for X.
Yeah.
-4 for Y. Good. That's A. Okay. Now somebody else. What is point B? Somebody raise your hand and tell me. I know. We got it too. Jessica, go ahead. What's
1, -3.
over 1 for X, -3 for Y. Good. Now somebody else. Well, point C. What's that? What's point C? Nita? 2, yes.
-2.
Yes, 2, -2. Very good. How about point D? Point D. Kelsey?
-3. 3.
-3,
No, it's back.
3.
It's 3 times 3.
Oh,
Sorry. Yeah.
yes. 3 is our X. -3 is our Y. Very good. Last one, E.
Yeah, easy too.
4.
4.
-4.
4, -4. Good. Very good. Perfect. Perfect. And again, you'll notice if you labeled your points in this order where you do A, B is 2 on the other side, C is the vertex, D, E, 2 on the other side, again, you're going to get this pattern where you have 4, 3, 2, or sorry, -4, -3, -2, -4, -3, -2. They mirror each other, the Y values do. It's interesting how that happens. Kind of interesting. Okay, so that one was number 7. Now, something I've just noticed is that on this worksheet, all of my slopes are either +1 or -1. So I do want to give you a problem where it's not +1 or -1. So when we move on to, I'll have us look at the one just right below it so we can see it at the same time. Well, that won't fit on the graph. No, it won't. Unless,
I don't see
They're
any
all
on
negative.
this
Unless-
sheet. They're all
unless,
negative.
let's see, hang on. We'll look at number 10 next.
What are they?
Let me do this. Okay. For number 10, before I go to that one, can I move this or does anyone still need to write? Anyone still need to see? Okay. Up and moving. You can always tell me to go back to something. Do you still need it? Now scooch up. Number 10. Let's use number 10 for this next. Are you still writing?
No.
Were you still writing?
I'm not in writing.
Okay, I just want to make sure I'm not going too fast. Okay, so for number 10, let's change this so that it has a number outside. Let's make the number outside -2. Just add that in. Number 10, we're going to make that a -2. Yes. Yes, for number 10, we're changing the outside number to -2, just so that all of our slopes are not 1, because we do want to have practice with other slopes.
Mine is okay, right? This is already done.
Yeah, yours is fine. You're good. All right, so let's do the same process. What is my A?
-2.
-2. Yeah, I hope y'all got that. What's my H?
1.
1. +1. Good. What is my K?
1.
+1 again. So, with these values, I need to know my slope and my vertex.
Vertex is 1, 1.
My vertex is 1, 1. Perfect.
Your slope is -2 over 1.
Yes. Okay, so slope. Remember, our slope is A, and A is -2
Over 1.
over 1. Yes. Anytime we have a a whole number, if it's not a fraction, we need a fraction because the top of the fraction gives us the rise, the bottom gives us a run. So if there's no fraction, we just put 1 for the run. Now, since our slope is -2, we're going to keep that in mind when we start adding points to our graph. We're not just going to go 1, 1, 1, 1. We're going to do something different. So first, now that everything is identified, let's put our vertex on the graph. So if my x is 1 and my y is 1, x is 1. Yes, Melanie. The -2, it came from right here. I just told you to put a -2 here. There was nothing that would have told you to be -2 unless I would have just said it. And the only reason I did that is because every other problem on here, you have 1 on the outside or -1, and I just wanted to mix it up a little bit. And then we got slope from that being -2 for A. Does that answer your question? Okay. All right. So vertex 1, 1. Right here, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, because our slope is -2 over 1, will I go? How about this? Somebody just raise your hand and tell me, what does this tell me to do next? Where?
Down 2.
Down? Yes. Down 2 over 1. The negative tells us to go down. So from my starting point, from my vertex, we go down 2 this time over 1. There's a point. See what happened? We can do it again. Down 2 over 1. There's another point. Down 2 again over 1. Another point. So we're to the end of this side. Where do I go back to?
Your vertex.
My vertex. So here's my vertex. And now down to
Over one to the left.
over one to the left in the other direction. And again, down to over one to the left.
So on and so forth.
So on and so forth. There we go. And then we just connect our dots. Now I'm actually thinking I might be able to fit the XY chart on this one. I gave myself enough room this time. This time I'll write it on here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's supposed to be a C.
Feel like, oh.
I know it does. Here. C. C. Okay. So I will call this my point A, point B here, point C, D, E. How would I label point A?
Minus 1, minus 3.
-1 for X, good. Minus, what was your Y?
Minus 3.
-3, good. Very good. How about point B? Titania?
It's gonna be -0,
Uh-huh.
-1.
Good. 0, -1. Somebody else, how about point C? Point C. You got it?
1, 1.
1, 1? Yes. 1, 1. Somebody else, raise your hand. What's point D?
2, 1. 2 minus 1.
So raise your hand. You are correct, though. 2 minus 1. Last one. Point E. Point E. Each out.
3, -3.
3, -3. Good. And again, we've made a nice pattern. -3, -1, 1. -3, -1, 1. It's like the V shape. It mirrors itself. There you go. Okay, so we have worked out quite a few of these in detail. We have worked a few in detail. I'm going to leave this up for a minute.
I use the restroom.
Go ahead. Go ahead. At this point in time, what I want you guys to do is to think of some questions. Think of what parts of these types of problems where you're graphing, think about what is the most difficult part for you and try to come up with a question that you think might help someone else in the room. So I want to give you guys a couple minutes of think time. And whenever I say, I'll set like a 2-minute timer, maybe talk with each other. Think of some questions. I would like to hear questions from you guys as to what is difficult about this that we can make easier. So I'm going to pause this, set some time, think of questions. What would make this easier? All right, I feel like we've had some good thinking time. Does anybody have a question that you think might help somebody who is trying to do this but having a hard time? Yes.
Is having no H the same concept of having no A, no K?
Having no, yes. Oh, that is such a good question. So Ruby asked, let me grab my little note that has the formula on it. She asked, is having no H value the same as having no K value? I don't know where I put that note. Here it is. Okay, so we said that having no A, if there's not a number here, then it's 1. But having no K, it's 0. So the question is, if there's no H, if it's just X, would this be the same as having no K? Will it also be 0? Yes. So maybe we can make a note of that as well.
Well,
So go ahead.
because usually whenever you have no H or no K, that means that your vortex is going to start on 0.
Yes. If there's no H or no K, your vertex is on 0. So, for example, if I have y equals x plus k, this means no H, H equals 0. Now, if I have y equals x minus h, and there's no k, k also equals 0. But no A equals 1. That's the difference. If there is no K at the end, your K is 0. There's no H inside, your H is 0. If there's not an A, your A is 1. Your A can never be 0, because then it would just cancel out the rest of the equation, and it would be y equals 0, and that would be the whole thing.
So your vortex is going to be 0, 0.
Yes, if you have y equals x, your vertex would be 0, 0. Yeah, nice. So this is a good note to make as well. If there's no H, H is 0. If there's no K, K is 0. If there's no A is 1. That's the difference. That was a good question. Any other questions that we think may be helpful? How do you graph this? Yes. Let's do it. So let me see. I'll do it right here, maybe. And I will draw a graph. So let's say you get my tick marks on here real quick. Let's start with y equals the absolute value of x. What is my h?
0.
0. What is my k?
0.
0. So let me write this. A, H, K. H is 0. K is 0. What's my A?
1.
1.
It'd be 1 over 1.
Yes. So that would mean our vertex is 0, 0.
Yeah.
So it would go
Dead center.
right here. And if our slope, yep, if it's 1 over 1,
Go up 1 over 1.
up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Keep going as far as you want. Back to the vertex, same thing. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1.
And that's the graph.
And that's your graph. But now we'll look at some that do have no H or no K, but have the other. So it's like just one is missing, not both. And if you remember way back to like the very beginning, the first day we learned about graphing, we called this y equals the absolute value. We called this the parent function, if you remember that. That's what that's called. So this would be our graph for y equals x. But to show you the difference of what happens if we're just missing an h or just missing a k, I'm going to draw the same graph with a different equation. So let's try y equals x plus 3. Now, A, H, K. What is my A? 1. What is my H?
0.
0. And my K?
30.
3. So what is my vertex?
0, 3.
Good, 0, 3. So our x is 0. We stay here. But my y is 3. So I go up 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Yeah. And we said the slope 1 over 1. So we do the same thing here. 1, 1. Up 1 over 1. Back to the vertex. Up 1 over 1. Up 1 over 1. You see how the plus 3 changes the graph? It scoots it up 3 spaces. Changes it just a little bit. But the slope is the same. So it's still going to have kind of the same look to it. We could also, though, do one more. Well, I'm going to do one where now this one we had a K. Let's do one where we don't have a K. Y equals X plus 1. And that's it. Let's give somebody else a chance. Okay. What is my A for this problem?
A equals 1.
1. Good. What is my H?
Equals -1.
Yes. -1.
K equals 0.
Yes. K equals 0. Okay, so what would be my vertex?
0, 1, 0.
-1, 0. My H is -1. My 0, or my k is 0. So -1, 0. So what happens now is our vertex moves again. -1 for x. We go over here.
Yeah.
My y is 0. I'm not going to go up or down. I'm going to stay here.
Hop over to the -1.
Yes, and then my slope is still 1 over 1. So again, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. I could keep going. Back to the vertex,
Up 1.
up 1 over 1,
Up 1 over.
up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. These graphs are getting a little squished now, but once we draw the lines, it'll be a little bit easier to see. Put a lot of stuff on one paper. Okay, there we go. See that now? So the blue one was y equals absolute value of x. The red one was y equals absolute value of x plus 3. And the green one is y equals the absolute value of x plus 1 on the inside. Yeah, you guys have good questions. I appreciate that. All right. So it is 1:59. It's about 2 o'clock, which is typically when I like to give you a break. At this point in class, we are, like I said, at the halfway point. If you feel solid on this, and you don't feel like you need much more review time before practice quiz tomorrow, you can give me your finished worksheet as an exit ticket, and you're free to go. Now, if you would love, especially if you came in Friday, for example, when I was not here wanting help, please stay. I would love to help you guys feel better and feel prepared for our practice quiz and our quiz on Wednesday. We can run through every single problem on this worksheet. I can make more worksheets. I just want you guys to know I am here as a resource. Use me to help you. That's my job. So I am going to go ahead and pause this. Yes, in a respectful way. I'm going to pause this. And if you decide that you feel good, just please check in with me before you go. And I'll see you at, let's say we'll start back up at 2:15. 2:15. All right, so we are back from break, and I'm going to move this over to the side. I'm going to take a little break from graphing, and I just want to make sure we remember how to solve absolute value equations. So to give an example, let's say, right here, algebra 2, hold on. Good. Pause this, hang on. All right, I'm just going to title this Algebra 2 Review and
Do you have a second?
Yeah,
Just finish.
yeah.
I'm sorry.
No, you're okay. All right, guys. All right, so let's say I have x plus 3. We'll start with the simplest one in absolute value bars equals 28. How do I solve this? Yes. Cancel out the 3. I will cancel out the 3, but before I do that, what do I need to do with the equation as a whole? We do something special with absolute value equations. Yes, we need to split it into 2 equations. So, once we've done that, then you will be 100% correct. First, we need to split into 2 equations. And what's going to be the difference in the 2 equations? What do I change?
The sign of the answer.
The sign of the answer, the 28. So I'm going to bring this down, no absolute value bars. X plus 3 equals 28 as it is. My positive equation. My negative equation will be x plus 3 equals negative 28. There is what we do. We've split it up. And now we would do exactly what you said, Milena. You said we're going to get rid of that plus 3. And how do we get rid of plus 3?
-3.
Yeah, minus 3 or negative 3 on both sides. Those will cancel. We get x equals 25. Okay. Now I'll go to my negative equation. Yep. X. Negative 31. Very good. Now, on a graph, which one goes first?
-31.
Yes, negative 31. Because it's smaller. Negatives are smaller. Even though it's a bigger looking number, because it's negative, it's smaller than 25. Yes.
You have less money.
Yes, exactly. It's like having negative money in your bank account. I would rather have $25 than negative 31. That would not be great. Okay, so at the simplest level of solving absolute value equations, the only difference in solving this and a regular equation is we split into 2. Now, we sometimes have something a little bit more complicated, and that's when we have things outside of the absolute value. For example, let's say now I have x minus 4 plus 3 equals, I don't know, 12. What is the extra thing I have to do before I can split this into 2 equations?
-3.
Yes, minus 3, minus 3. Now, the reason that we can do this before we split is because we have to. We were able to split this equation right away because the absolute value was by itself. Here, it was not by itself. We had plus 3 on the end. We had to get rid of that first. And let's see what that does. Now I have absolute value of x minus 4 equals 12 minus 3 is 12, 11, 10, 9. I'm just going to make a note. Get absolute value. Find itself first. Now that we have successfully subtracted 3 from both sides, is the absolute value by itself?
Yes.
Yes. So what do I do from here?
And then the two, that means.
Yes, divide it into 2 separate equations. See you later, Michelle. And what changes from each equation? I'll copy down the original without absolute value first. X minus 4 equals 9. What will be different about the next one? Perfect. It'll be x minus 4 equals negative 9. It's the 9 that changes the answer. So now, it should be fairly simple at this step to solve both problems. In both problems, what do I do next? Add 4. Good. Add 4 to both sides of both equations. You don't have to do them both at once. Sometimes, though, it's almost easier to do it at the same time because you're taking the same steps in both. Then I get x equals 9 plus 4 is 13. Here I get x equals, that's negative 9 plus 4.
-5.
Negative 5. There we go. Hold the burn on our graph. Which number goes first? Negative 5. Good. And next, 13. There is both problems. But sometimes it goes even a step further than that. I want to make sure that we remember what to do when I have a problem like this third one I'm going to give you. What if now I have, let me draw a line to separate. This might give you a decimal. So I don't know. Just made it up. Okay. Remembering back to the problem we just did, first we got to get the absolute value by itself. So take a look at that one and tell me what we do next. Oh, which one? So it's -1, 4, -1. You see? What should I do first? Yes.
Actually, I have a question.
Yeah.
Is that 3 a part of the problem?
Yes, it is. It is part of the problem. See that. Good. No, this one's perfect. You got it. That's correct. Go with this one. Good. That one was, let's see, +2. So 0 is x. X. It's 2. So 0. That's vertex. That's not good. Ouch. So what would I do here, guys? Anybody know? What would I do? Yeah. Yes. Let's add 1 first. That's a great way to start. +1 on both sides. That's going to get us 1 step closer to having this absolute value all by itself. And we'll bring everything down. 3, absolute value, 2x plus 1 equals 8 plus 1 is 9. Now, are we totally thrown off by the 3? No. What do we do with it?
We're gonna divide by 3.
Yes. When there's a 3 outside of absolute value bars, it's just like when there's a 3 outside of parentheses, like when we have distribution. This means 3 times the absolute value of 2x plus 1. So to get rid of 3 times, we divide by 3. And then we can go to the next. So once I've divided by 3, what happens next? What comes down? Yep, my 2x plus 1 with the bars equals 3. And at this point in the problem, where would I go from here? Yes, yes. why can we split it now? What makes it okay to split this, but not the beginning problem?
Has to be by itself.
Yes, we have to get this absolute value by itself. And now it's by itself. So we can split it into 2x plus 1 equals 3 and 2x plus 1 equals -3. And we'll just solve it like normal. It's not going to be a decimal.
Yeah.
So for my positive, I'll subtract 1. And you know what? We're going to do that to my negative as well. We're subtracting 1. I'll cancel those. Bring down 2x equals 3 minus 1 is 2. For our minus, we have 2x equals -3 minus 1, which is what? What do I get for my answer over here? -3 minus 1.
-4.
Yeah, -4. I know those negatives can get us. Last step on both, we just divide by 2. And what will we get for both x's? 1 and -2. Perfect. And then the graph. Which number comes first on our graph? -2. Good. Awesome. Okay. So really, this is basically what's going to be going on as far as your quiz when we're doing absolute value equations. So this is just kind of like a mini refresher. However, do any of you want more practice on equations? Like practice on your own? Yes, okay. So at least one of you do. So I can absolutely make some practice. And I can have that ready in just about a minute here. But kind of think. Let me give you one to work on by yourself while I make a practice sheet. That way you're not just sitting there waiting on me. So try this one on your own. I would really like to not give you a desk, but we'll see. Sorry if I do. Bye. I'm trying. I'm doing these in my head, man. Got me some slack. Do that one by itself. And I will print off some practice problems for anybody that wants them.